This week's channel message from the angels is actually two messages. The first one is about how the light that we are carrying has changed. And the second message is about forgiving ourselves from the ways in which we doubt our connection and the divine. So, welcome back to my channel, you guys. It is wonderful to have you here. For those of you who are here for the first time, my name is Ann Tucker. I am a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm. And I do that by raising my awareness up as high as I can go, a little higher. I connect, and then the healing and information comes through. And I share it here with you guys on YouTube. So as I mentioned, two different messages today, and then I'm going to read you the full message. And then afterwards, after each message, we'll break it apart and talk about what it means. So, and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do, because we are almost at 10,000 subscribers. And that is such a cool accomplishment for all of us, that there are 10,000 people in the world who are interested in connecting with the angels. So I just see that as a phenomenal and exciting measure of how our consciousness and our connection is evolving, and how more and more people in the world are waking up. So anyways, I'm super excited about. So thank you so much for subscribing, and please enjoy the message. All right, so today's message is kind of a long one, because there are two messages. Because I will tell you what happened is night before last, I only got like 4 hours of sleep. I was up super late and then woke up super early. So only 4 hours of sleep. I was super tired and I was busy all day. And so it wasn't until Thursday night that I sat down to channel. And I went into it thinking, oh my gosh, I only had 4 hours of sleep. I'm really tired. This probably isn't going to work. And you guys know that every time I channel a message, it doesn't make any sense to me. And every time I do it, I have that like, oh, that didn't make any sense, until I go and look at it. So there's always this part of me that has to actively work to suspend my disbelief, right? Until I go and read it. And then there's always that delightful moment of like, wow, like, oh, it's like I'm hearing it the first time, just like you guys, I'm hearing it the first time. And I'm always like, wow, that was amazing. And I love how they speak and all the things, right? It always blows me away. But when I channel it, I'm always like, no, it didn't work. So this time it was particularly that way, because I had no sleep, super tired, and tried channeling. And I was so doubtful that I just assumed that it didn't work. And I didn't even bother to read it. And I just decided I would wake up in the morning and I would channel again. I would redo it. So I woke up this morning and I channeled a new message. And I went through and I put in all the punctuation. And then just for giggles, I went back and looked at last night's message. And it was, of course, awesome. And then the beautiful thing is that today's message, the one I channeled this morning, is about forgiving our own doubt. And how many times have I worked with people where I see in their energy that we judge ourselves, or when we are angry with the divine, or when we doubt the divine, right? When we feel like we're so distant, and then there's this reflective where we feel bad about ourselves because of our doubt. And I think it's all that conditioning we have from all the Christmas movies we've watched, where like the story is like, if you don't believe, the magical creatures will disappear. Like if you don't believe in Santa Claus, he's going to disappear. So we feel like somehow like not believing is somehow doing something bad or something like mean to the angels and to the divine. So I think that's in there somewhere, like that's somewhere in my psyche, but I see it definitely when I work with people too, that there's this layer of like feeling guilty because we have our doubt. So anyways, we have some beautiful messages to share, and it really is, you can see the journey. There's the first message, which is awesome, which is about understanding how the light has changed. The light that we are holding has changed. So that's super cool. And then the second message is about forgiving our doubt. So two beautiful ones to share with you. So you're saying good morning. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much for joining. Hello. Yippee, 2 for 1. You say, hi, all starts after you start speaking. So I missed the beginning. Oh, okay. Sorry. Well, the beginning will be in the recording. And I just was saying good morning. And sorry you haven't been here in a while. I'm so glad you could make it today. Great to see you guys. All right. So shall we get started? Let's dig in. All right. So here is the first message. All right. And let me get this where I can see it easily. We say a year arrives, and in this time you find yourself walking, talking differently because of where you've come from and how you've arrived. A year arrives, and in this time and space, your life does live and breathe differently. We hold you now, a space apart from everything. A year does pass, and feel yourself encumbered now by difference from what you were. Your perception, egalitarian in its dismissive lyric, know yourself. The tranquil part to whom we talk and speak with, know yourself to be rising. This time and space, you encounter our art differently from how you were. How you're now beginning, you are changed within. The fabric of now wraps itself, soothing, tranquil. To understand what is the difference, you feel nothing. You feel it not. You feel it coming ever after, solving. There's always more. Your body and your being, your housing, always changing. You feel this. It transports. You understand yourself differently. Being of the light has changed now. It is nothing what it was. It has a difference within. The very resonance of your body, your being of the light now, it conquers everything. Sandwiched in between the layers of yourself, it held a branch, an olive tree, a space apart from negativity. But now it rises to the self. It conquers. It lifts. It moves over and aside that which claimed yourself. It lets you breathe. It frees you from what you think you need. It lifts you. It lifts you. You move among your family, your people, a trajectory of chosen living. Feel yourself imbibe the light, a draught, a taste, whole or in part. Your counsel names us some friend worth having. You take us in on board, a friend, and let us breathe your essence. We wish you now to feel the difference from this time, how your body changes, how light you hold, it infiltrates your awareness and takes hold of you now, how your essence feels the vibration of living differently. The weight, abide and conquer, takes on new meaning. You now assemble yourself differently. You feel the light internal, no longer needing to force your fury. You let life evolve from within you. A stage, a player, you are living. And let this freedom overtake you. Let yourself play your role, your part as needed, feeling free movement in light from within you. Breathe now and let this time conquer. Let it be now what is rising. So that is the first message. And then the second message I will read in full, and then we can talk about it. So that message is talking about how the light, literally the essence, the light of source that you carry has changed. And, they've been telling us about how, we are moving, what is this new change of consciousness that we're going through? What does it actually mean in terms of our lived experience? It's a shift on so many levels. It's a release of our karma, a shifting of our awareness, all these different, very important layers. Here they are saying, they're talking about a year's time. And in the beginning of this message, they're talking about how a year can come and go, and we don't recognize our own growth. So we are within a year, you might be at the end of a year, say it's your New Year's resolution time, and you're like, well, how did I change in this last year? And you don't give yourself credit. And that's what they're saying, that we are not sensitive because we are living it every day, that we're stuck in our own junk or stuck in the mire of everyday living, that we don't always see how we've shifted. So that's what these first paragraphs are saying. We say a year arrives, and in this time you find yourself walking, talking differently because of where you've come from and how you've arrived. So they're saying this is the truth of it, that we do change. We are constantly changing. They say a year arrives, and in this time and space your life does live and breathe differently. We hold you now, a space apart from everything. So they're trying to help us. By holding us apart, they're trying to help us to see how we've changed. Next paragraph. A year does pass, and feel yourself encumbered now by difference from what you were. So what they're saying by that is that we are encumbered by our understanding of what we used to be, that we still have a filter of ourselves that is old. So one of the things that makes us hard to see how we've changed is that sometimes we are locked into old perceptions of how we were. And I've encountered this for sure recently, where I was walking into a situation with an understanding of that came from 20 years ago, right? And I needed to update my perception. So we sometimes, it's we don't see ourselves accurately as how, we don't recognize how much we've changed.
They say next sentence here, they say, your perception, egalitarian in its dismissive lyric, know yourself. So they're talking about, it's a perception. It's how we see ourselves. And then egalitarian is like equal to everything. Egalitarian in its dismissive lyric. So basically we're saying that our perception is we dismiss ourselves. And they're saying it across the board equally. All our good parts, all our bad parts, we ignore it all. And we are constantly discounting ourselves. They're saying acknowledge this about our perception. Egalitarian in its dismissive lyric, the constant song of how we doubt ourselves and the ways in which we undermine ourselves. They're saying know yourself. Recognize that about ourselves. That we tend to dismiss it. The tranquil part to whom we talk and speak, know yourself to be rising. So they're saying there's this quiet, when we are in that quiet moment, in our meditative moments, in the spaces where we quiet that voice, the dismissive song. And that's the part that they speak to. They're saying that we speak, the part that we speak with, know yourself to be rising. This time, the space you encounter our art differently from how you were, how you're being. You are changed within. The fabric of now wraps the self, soothing, tranquil. So they're saying that there has been a change, a significant change, and they want us to recognize it and to update our perception of who we are. Right? They go on to say, to understand what is the difference, you feel nothing, you feel it not. So we don't necessarily feel this, or we're not aware of what's happening inside of us. It's too subtle, or we're too in it. We just can't see it, right? They say you feel coming ever after solving, there's always more. So part of it is that yes, we have made this amazing shift, but at the same time, we are constantly aware of the things that we have yet to do. And that's where our focus is. Our focus is on what's next and how else we need to change ourselves and to raise ourselves and all the next thing that we're working on. So we are engaged in the process of learning about ourselves, and we don't always see how we've improved or what we've changed, right? So they go on to say, next paragraph, love this paragraph. Being of the light has changed now. It is nothing what it was. It has a difference within. The very resonance of your body, your being of the light now, it conquers everything. So this, I think, is the zinger paragraph of this whole message, because they're telling us, they're saying that it's literally, the difference is we move from a space where the light would impact us, like we would have it would sort of be more of a glimmer, and they're saying now it's like a force, that the light inside us conquers everything. So it is way more powerful than it was before. And I think that's the most significant thing of this message, is they're saying that, that the power of the light that we're carrying, it's like it has new capabilities. We went from having something that was like a topical ointment to like a massive transformation, right? So now this light that we carry can do so much more. Next paragraph, they say, sandwiched in between the layers of yourself, it held a branch, an olive tree, a space apart from negativity. So they're saying before, this is how the light was. We would carry this light, and they're saying it would be sandwiched between the layers of ourself. So it was in there, but we were super immersed in our junk. And the light that we carried had to kind of work with our stuff, and had to work with like the moments when we would allow it, right? And then it would be changed by the junk that we were carrying, right? It would be altered or muted in some way. And I love the wording that they use here. They say it held a branch, an olive tree, a space apart from negativity. So the light that we carried before was sort of like a peace offering, call it that. And I love their choice, of course, a branch, an olive tree. So that is a reference. And you've always heard of like the olive branch is representing peace. And I thought that was the first layer, but this is also a reference. So I looked it up. And it comes from a section of where it's about, I think it's a section of the Bible. And you guys know I don't know the Bible well. So this is just looking it up and sharing what I find. But they talk about Noah, the story of Noah. And at the end of the flood, a dove returns with an olive branch, right, after the flood. And it becomes a symbol of the offering of peace. And I think there's probably other symbology of this. Like, was there an olive branch in Roman times or Greek times? Did that also have the meaning of peace? Because it seems like I remember that. If somebody knows that, if you could add that. Because sometimes these symbols are layered in mythology and then also in religious text. But that's the one that came up when I searched it. So I love that after the flood, the olive branch. So there's this feeling of like, after the chaos comes the peace. And so in the past, as we held our light, it was enmeshed in the chaos. And now they're saying That's not the case anymore. They're saying it's different. They're saying now it rises to the self. It conquers, it lifts, it moves over and aside that which claimed yourself. So rather than being sandwiched between the layers of our junk, they're saying this rises up above our junk. So this is yet another reference to the freeing us from our own karma. It's a new way of relating to our divinity, right? It lets you breathe. It frees you from what you think you need. It lifts you. Right. And another reference there to this whole idea of releasing and allowing, right? They keep saying this, but in so many different ways to help us really understand. All right, next paragraph. They say, you move among your family, your people, a trajectory of chosen living. Feel yourself imbibe the light, a draught, a taste, whole or in part. So however it is that you're taking in the light, right? Your counsel names us some friend worth having. So this is saying this, as we are opening to the light, opening to more and more of the light, you take us in on board a friend and let us breathe your essence. So this is just referencing like as we are becoming more and more open, we're allowing. It's really that allowing is such a pervasive message, right? And Rebecca's saying, I believe Greek crowns were made with branches, maybe olives. I thought so too. That's why I was going back to this. Oh, and you're saying the olive branch is a symbol of peace and victory associated with customs of ancient Greece and connected with supplication to gods and persons in power. It is found in most cultures of the Mediterranean basin. So cool from Wikipedia. Thank you so much for looking that up. That is awesome. Yeah, I thought that there was, so I love that it layers and layers. So, and so you're saying that it is associated with customs, connected with supplication to gods and persons of power. Wow. Very, very cool. So that again would apply if we're looking at that saying before it was sandwiched between the layers of ourselves. And now it is like we're releasing that, like allowing or supplication to the gods and persons. So it's like opening up ourselves, allowing ourselves to the divine. So the layers just keep on going. That is so cool, you guys. Letting go of karma and embracing our dharma. Yes, thank you, Mike. Exactly. All right, next paragraph. We wish you now to feel the difference from this time, how your body changes, how light you hold, it infiltrates your awareness and takes hold of you now. How your essence feels the vibration of living differently. The wait, abide, and conquer takes on new meaning. Now assemble yourself differently. So they're just really trying to call our attention to this. Be aware of this change because we are not programmed to see it or to feel it and to notice that the light is literally the quality of the light that we are carrying is changed. And then they go on to say, you feel the light internal, no longer needing to force your fury. You let life evolve from within you. A stage, a player, you are living. So this part, they're saying that this is a big difference, is that in the past, there was this feeling that we had to, to project, to force, to create what it is that we wanted to experience. There was this sense that we needed to be more forceful in terms of trying to manifest what it is that we wanted to create for ourselves. And they're saying that we're no longer needing to force your fury. So it is literally like rather than being the one that's sort of here partially cut off, having to take a very active role, it's sort of like the way that we think about breathing. Like breathing happens all the time, and it's a part of our brain that we don't have to actively control. And so we're trying to get to that space of allowing the light to move through us in the same way that we breathe and that we just ride, as they keep saying, riding that wave of potential and letting that potential move through us and letting our energy, letting who we are and letting that source light just move through us. And that's what we're trying to get to. So we no longer need to force our fury, right? You let life evolve from within you. So this is exactly what they're talking about. And then they talk about we're still playing the earth game. They're saying a stage, a player, you are living. That's what living is. It's like theater. We're a stage, a player. And let this freedom overtake you. Let yourself play your role, your part as needed, feeling free movement of light from within you. So that's it. They're saying this is a freedom. This is so much easier. Imagine if you had to focus on every single breath. If you had to sit there and be like, okay, inhale. If you had to focus and think about it as opposed to just letting it happen. And that's what we're trying to get to. Breathe now and let this time conquer. Let it be now what is rising. So that is the first message. And that is the one that I thought was gibberish, that I did not have faith in. And I do that all the time. And which is, I'm understanding, is no big deal. But I got to tell you that every time I don't believe the message, every time I think that it didn't work, every time I doubt the connection, I feel bad about it. I always come away going like, oh, I feel like I'm hurting their feelings, right? That I'm making the magical creatures disappear. I always feel bad about it. And sure enough, here I would feel bad about it. So the message that came through, the next message, is about exactly that, about how we judge ourselves for the ways in which we doubt and the ways in which there are many times I will work with clients and I will find somewhere in their history, somewhere in their selves, their many selves, where they have been very angry with God or source or however you would call the divine. And that anger, right? And then they feel guilty about the anger. And that's a serious pattern that we have. And it makes sense. Like how many people have experienced horrific loss and that came to them as anger at the divine, right? So, and you're saying, I do believe in angels. I do. Exactly, right? And it's hard. It is hard to hold. You guys know that even when something magical happens to you or for you, and you feel their presence, you feel like, oh my gosh, that incredible serendipitous thing that just happened. And then minutes after it happened, you almost like you have to pinch yourself. Did it happen? Was it real? And then a day later, it's really hard to believe, right? That certainty, the moment, it's like you need constant proof. And then we judge ourselves for that. And so here they're speaking directly to that. So if you're ready, let's move into the next message. All right, so I'll read the whole message again, or read the next message in full. In your housing, you feel us daily. We enshroud this life and your bearings. We lift the sunlight and make waves in the ocean. We surround yourselves in our essence, and yet you wonder if we are real. You diverge from us never. You feel our presence, our countenance. Our asking of yourselves in this exchange is only bringing your own light further to this entry, to counsel each other as you are ready. We are lifting the sunlight, letting you feel the radiance of spirit within you. We are ready to support your entry. All feel the divine, but not all recognize the intrusion of this energy. All feel their own suffering and plight, but do now only delve into meaning upon reflection from untoward events. Drawn down into difficulty, they reach up, feeling, needing, wanting to believe. An intrusion they are welcoming, asking. Thus, the capitulation of this energy, the rise and fall of what and how you are needing us. To be ready, to be here, waiting. We wait. We enshroud you all in the necessary space, in the quiet. Divulge your worry, distraction. Feel the light only rarely in this state of entry. To bring the self whole circle takes the round, full folly of this living. We wait full circle. We stand with one another and see your happiness, your staid reflection, your awkward journey, the efforts, starts and stopping. We see how you are enlivened momentarily and fall again. We wait for that moment of entry. We speak your name, a whisper invitation, as you come close to that time of absence when you lift from all that tears you, and we bring you round. But in the meantime, we wait. We stay locked down in your own suffering. Your housing separates from us. We feel your absence and we stay. We breathe your name. We wait. There is always us. A patterning of harboring your own journey within ourselves to mirror out, to let you feel, to make the space ready, to set the stage for your inquiry, to learn, to fall, to storm, to be. And as you distance yourself from us in disquiet, disbelief, we feel your light just as strongly. We know yourselves. We know your injury and love you equally. All things of God reside within you. We see all stars, all light, all powerful energy that rests and storms and makes waste within you. We see all things and we wait. For we honor yourselves. We honor your journey, your time in this evolutionary process of learning. The experience of this life and its injuries, its methods of cruelty to the self. We understand your journey and press not for the claiming of our friendship, of our love for yourselves. We stand guard, We pledge to allow, to permit your folly, to stand and wait. Our promise to yourselves, to allow for your betterment, to enslave ourselves temporarily to the whims of your folly, to be that part which lifts the sunlight on each new day so that you may breathe God's light and have no memory, to be the light and not feel it, to carry the stars within you and feel yourself in darkness. We love you endlessly. We wait your journey. And that last part makes me feel, I don't know about you guys, but that definitely brings up emotion for me, that last paragraph. I find that to be so beautiful. So, okay. All right. So we break this one down. All right. You're saying so synchronistic. Again, I was praying last night and this morning again about this very subject, like an answer directly for me. Don't you love that? They do feel us, they know where we're at. It's amazing. You're saying, Rebecca's saying, I know your injury and love you equally. I know, right? It's just, yeah, every time I've read this last paragraph like 50 times now, and every time it makes me tear up. All right. Okay. Are you guys ready? Let's break it down. All right. They say, in your housing, you feel us daily. We enshroud your life and your bearings. We lift the sunlight and make waves in the ocean. We surround yourselves in our essence. So the interesting thing about this first paragraph is that they are describing their role in the Earth School in a very active way. And we know they have given us a message before that's called The Angels Bring in the Dawn. And that's a really good one, I think, to understand this, that their role is that they say that they are bringing in God's light. And that's my word. Please use yours, of course. And bringing it into every day. It's like a fresh start every single day. So they are playing a very active role in setting the stage for us. And they really spell that out in this message, I think, more than they ever have. What is the role that they play in clearing the stage so that we have the best possible opportunity to encounter ourselves and to learn. So it's like at the end of every day we go to bed and we forgive all of the ways, all the opportunities that we missed. And then each new day is a fresh start where we have a chance to find ourselves, right? And they are setting the stage every day, clearing the stage every day. And I love that, right? And you're saying at the end of Mother's Day, they are always here. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so they go, and yet you wonder if we are real. So they are saying we have this huge active role, and yet you wonder if we are real. You diverge from us never. So we're always connected to them. You know that they are actually, like, in a way, integrated to our physical structure. You are asking yourselves in this exchange, if this exchange is only bringing your own light, are asking of yourselves. So this is what they want from us, are asking of yourselves in this exchange. And so their presence here doing all of this for us, the only thing they're asking is bringing your own light further to this entry. So that is the thing that we are trying to accomplish. How much of ourselves, of our truth, can we hold? That's it. That's the number one thing that they're asking from us. They want us to try to bring as much of ourselves into our bodies, into this physical experience, and much of our truth, to counsel each other as you are ready. So we're supposed to help each other in the progress, in our process of doing this, right? We are lifting the sunlight, letting you feel the radiance of spirit within you. We are ready to support your entry. So they're super committed to this process that we are going through. So they're not just on the sidelines. They are here with us, going through it with us, and they have a very specific role to play, and they're very happy to play it, and they want us to know that. Next paragraph. All feel the divine, but not all recognize the intrusion of this energy. All feel their own suffering and plight, but do now only delve into meaning upon reflection from untoward events. So in other words, we go about our daily living, and we often, humanity in general, often doesn't connect with their divinity until they're really in bad straits, right? It's not until something really goes wrong, and that's when you hear people who have never been religious are all of a sudden praying, right? And that's what they're talking about here, right? Drawn down into difficulty, they reach up. So that's what they're specifically referencing. Feeling, needing, wanting to believe. An intrusion they are welcoming, asking. So they're saying this is their opportunity. So it's like, and we wonder, why do we have these hardships in life? Those hardships open us, right? They make us ready. They make us ask. And that's all they're looking for, is they need us to ask. So we have these difficulties to try to make us more open, to help us to receive. Next paragraph, they say, thus the capitulation of this energy. So capitulation is to surrender or cease to resist. So that's what we're looking for. And that's what the angels are looking for, is we have these hardships so that we will capitulate. So we will break down our defenses, so that we will open up. And for people who are totally unwilling to consider the possibility that there is something larger, a divine energy that's in the world, they all of a sudden capitulate and they will open up when they're in this darkest hour, right? You're saying I have a massive grin on my face. That's awesome. All right. So they go on to say, the rise, the fall of what and how you are needing us to be ready to be here waiting. We wait. So this is what they're waiting for, is that moment, right? We enshroud you all in the necessary space, the quiet. Divulge your worry, distraction, right? And so to divulge is to make known. And think about that. So divulge your worry, distraction. So make known your worry and your distraction. So that's a double reference there. To divulge something is like, okay, they recognize that in order to heal, we have to confront, acknowledge, and allow our pain. And so often we deny our pain. We push it down. We disguise it. We don't talk about it, right? And so to heal, we have to divulge. We have to share. What is it that's the worry, the distraction? What is it that's painful for us? We have to share it. So that's one layer, which is truth. And then the other layer is that we have to tell them. They want us to share with them. When we get to that point, that low moment, this is the opening. This is how we crack open and let them in, is we divulge. We share, like, I am in trouble, right? I need help. This is what they want us to say. Right? And they create the necessary space, the quiet, for us to have this moment with them. They say, feel the light only rarely in this state of entry. To bring the self whole circle takes the round, full folly of this living. I love that. To bring the self whole circle takes the round, full folly of this living. So to bring us from that state in childhood where we slowly move away from source, we slowly move away from our awareness, we become deeper and deeper enmeshed in living, we shut ourselves down, we close our heart, we go through all this stuff, and then at some point we have that awakening moment and we come back to ourself. And that is that full round folly. We have to go through the whole cycle to remember, is what they're talking about. They're remembering that we have to go through. And they say, we wait full circle. They wait for us to remember them. Next paragraph. We stand with one another and see your happiness, your staid reflection, your awkward journey. The efforts starts and stopping. We see how you are enlivened momentarily and fall again. And so they say they see us in all these things. Staid means like sedate or unadventurous. So they see us in kind of all our highs and lows, all our different highs and lows, all our different states or ways of being, right? The ways that we rise temporarily and then we fall again. And notice that there is no judgment here. There's no point where they're like, oh, look at you, you suck, you fell down again. They never say that. It's always like, no, this is the round, full circle of the journey. And they are so supportive of this process. And it is a process. And that's what they're trying to communicate to us, that they see it, that they understand, what we're going through. And you're saying, let's see, you're saying after Mike says he has a grin on his face, you're saying, so do I. I didn't realize I was smiling until I saw your comment. That's awesome. And you're saying, I long so much for a more obvious connection, I guess. I get so many signs, but still doubt, even though I also know. Yes. Also like it, if it could always be a voice or a visual scene, because when it isn't obvious that I can point to, like when you channel actual words, I second guess if it was real. Yes, right? That is, and I think that's everyone's experience. And yes, it's true. I am channeling words and every time I see them, but I have experienced this the same way that you are. When I channel, I don't believe it. So I'm in the same boat. Like I am with you, that when it comes through, I don't understand. And yes, there'll be like, I get more, like I'm there and I'm getting visuals and I see what's happening. But there's always this, it's almost like when I channel, the belief is like a veil that's lifted. And all of a sudden I believe and I'm in it and I'm feeling them and I'm seeing them and I'm having this experience. And then the channeling stops and it's like this veil drops again. And it's like a dream state where I'm like, did that really happen? So I really understand what you're saying. And so these messages are just as much for me as they are for you guys. Like it is, yeah. And I recognize like having the real tangible reminders is so helpful, but it's like a veil. That veil, we talk about the veil as being disbelief, but I think it's also the veil of like, it's so hard for us to hold the truth of it. And I think that what they're telling us here is to be gentle on ourselves about that, to recognize that that's part of the journey and to not judge ourselves for it. Yeah. All right. So then they're saying, okay, where was I? The capitulation. Hold on, I lost my place. Okay, we wait for that moment of entry. We speak your name, a whisper invitation, as you come close to that time of absence when you lift from all that tears you and we bring you round. So this is the moment. Like you can imagine this being the second when we break down and we ask for them and then they swoop in, right? And they are whispering, right? The way that they come in is they whisper our name. They're speaking. It's like they're calling us in those moments, trying to open us. And I love how they describe this. When you come close to that time of absence, when you lift from all that tears you. So this is that when we break through our karma, when we break through our junk and we momentarily open to them and feel them, right? That's when they bring us round. I love it. Absolutely love it. Next paragraph. They say, but in the meantime, we wait. We stay. Locked down in your own suffering, your housing separates from us. We feel your absence and we stay. We breathe your name. We wait. There is always us. So this is it. They're saying, don't worry. Like, don't worry about the fact that you doubt them, or don't worry about if you have been angry, or if you have, if you've been mad at Source or God, if you feel like, however it has shown up for you. And they're saying, don't worry about it. They understand. They said, we stay, right? We are locked down in our suffering and we are separated from them. And they don't, it's not like a friend who gets mad at you for not calling, right? It is, they say, we feel your absence and we stay. We breathe your name. We wait. There is always us. So they're saying, just do it. Just do our journey. Live this life. Feel all the feelings. Don't judge ourselves for the feelings and know they are there regardless. Regardless of how we feel about them, of the moments that we invite them, the moments that we curse them, all of it, they are still there, right? So amazing to have that reassurance. And you're saying, it's great to get to this live. I'm so glad you could make it, Pat. You're saying exactly holding the truth of it, non-acceptance of our own known awareness. Yes, exactly. All right, next paragraph. They say, a patterning of harboring your own journey within ourselves to mirror out, to let you feel, to make the space ready, to set the stage for your inquiry, to learn, to fall, to storm, to be. And as you distance yourselves from us in disquiet, disbelief, we feel your light just as strongly. So in this paragraph, they're referring back to that idea that they have a much more active involvement in helping to set the stage for our learning, for this process that we're going through. So they're saying to make the space ready, to set the stage for your inquiry. So they are deeply involved in helping us to navigate this life in alignment with the lessons that we set out to learn, with the path that we have chosen for ourselves. So they're deeply involved in that process, right? To make the space ready. So they are literally like setting the stage. You could imagine them, what their role is. They are we are the actors, they are the backstage crew that's setting the stage between each scene, right? Between each day. They reset the scene. And right, and then they allow us. We come out on stage and they let us learn, they let us fall, they let us storm. They just want us to be or not to be. How appropriate, right? Because we are on the stage of life. And then they say, as you distance yourselves from us in disquiet, disbelief, we feel your light just as strongly. So it doesn't in any way change how they feel about us. Right? And they go on to say, we know yourselves, we know your injury and love you equally. All things of God reside within you. We see all stars, all light, all powerful energy that rests and storms and makes waste within you. We see all things and we wait. And this is part of why they love us so much, is because they see us as an aspect of Source light. They recognize us as an aspect of God, of Source. And so that they are drawn to that, endlessly. And so they say that we know yourselves. We know yourselves. That's what they're talking about. They know us as an aspect of Source. And then they know they know our injury. They know all the ways in which we hold the darkest parts, the highest parts, the lowest parts. They know all that, and they love us equally. All things of God reside within you. So this is what they're talking about. And I love how they say, we see all stars, all light, all powerful energy that rests and storms and makes waste within you. And this points to the fact that we use our own divine power against ourselves. So we create our own our own disease, our own illness. So the power is so great that we can literally use it to attack ourselves and end our own experience here. And that is how powerful we are. Right? We see all things and we wait. So they let us have that too. If that's how we choose to use our power, if we subconsciously and subconsciously are using that power in that way, they see it and they wait and they let us have our journey. And that is, for all of you who are parents and know one of the hardest things to do is to be the parent that says no. It's delightful to be the parent that says yes. It's wonderful to be like, yes, you can have 5 more pieces of candy. That's fun to be that parent, right? But it's really hard to be the parent that says no. And so for them to stand by and watch us harm ourselves, like that's love, right? That's huge love because it's painful for them, right? Painful for them to see us suffer. All right. And then they go on to say, we honor yourselves. We honor your journey, your time in this evolutionary process of learning, the experience of this life and its injuries, its method of cruelty to the self. We understand your journey and press not for the claiming of our friendship, our love for yourselves. We stand guard, pledge to allow, to permit your folly, to stand and wait. So this is exactly what we were just talking about, right? They're honoring our choice, our journey. This is free will. And free will is, I think, one of the greatest expressions of divine love, to allow us to fall and to make these mistakes, right? The experience of this life and its injuries, its methods of cruelty to the self. And just think of that, how hard it is to see if you have a child, to see your own child fail, right? And how painful that is. When someone else is mean to your kid, just think about what that brings up in you and how hard that is. And that's what they have to witness. They get to stand by and watch that. And that's hard, right? And we understand your journey and press not for the claiming of our friendship, our love for yourselves. So they don't push that, right? They say they recognize, like they're willing to stay in this role. And to me, that is such an expression of incredible love. Right? We stand guard, pledge to allow, to permit your folly, to stand and wait. Such a beautiful message. They go on to say, our promise to yourselves, to allow for your betterment, to enslave ourselves temporarily to the whims of your folly, to be that part which lifts the sunlight on each new day so that you may breathe God's light and have no memory, to be the light and not feel it, to carry the stars within you, and feel yourself in darkness. We love you endlessly. We wait your journey. So this really is, I told you every time. I'm not going to cry this time. Every time I read that, I'm going to cry. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. And it makes me tear up. Intensely beautiful. I feel that way. It is such a statement to what we are doing and the role that they are playing. And it brings up so much gratitude to them. And I love that idea that they are every day, they are just trying to set us up to succeed, to give us a chance, right? To make space for us so we have the possibility to encounter ourselves and to make the most. It's really about that. It's like they're not in a hurry. They're just trying to help us to make the most of this. And there's a ton of room on our journey for us to make changes, for us to take a different turn, to make a different choice, and to let the life unfold differently. And they just want to make space. They're like, what are you, as a unique spark of source, what are you going to do with this opportunity, right? And there is no part of them that is saying, you got to do it this way. It's 100% us. And we do have infinite free will while we're here. And there's going to be certain guardrails where they're going to try to push us towards what we plan for ourselves. But within that, there is infinite numbers of expressions. There's an infinite number of ways that we can fulfill that promise that we made to ourselves. And so they allow that. They set the stage and they stand by and they watch us do mean things to ourselves and they let it happen as to how much they love us. You guys, so awesome. Yeah, I love this so much. You saying tearing up, so intensely beautiful, got me. Me too, you guys. Oh, okay. I gotta stop crying. Oh, all right, you guys, thank you so much for sharing this with me. As always, a lesson for me in all of this too, to not judge myself when I doubt, to just recognize as part of the journey and to know that they're there loving me anyways. So, okay, have a great weekend. And I will see you guys soon. You're saying this is so interesting when it comes up to changing timelines. Yes, that is true. That is true. And the first message about the light being different, the light that we carry is different. So let's not forget that. All right. Love you guys. I will see you guys next Friday live. Have a great weekend.